Hello everyone, this is Miss Samra. I'm back with my next lesson. So today's lesson is on calculating determinant of a matrix. So determinant of a matrix. Okay, first of all, let's talk about why do we need to do this. Okay, now if you remember, so far we have done addition, we have done subtraction, and we even did multiplication. So pretty much we have done everything, most of those operations with matrices except division. So now division is the only concept where you have to find the determinant first. So this determinant concept would help you find dividing matrices. So basically this is kind of like one step towards division process, all right? So today we're going to be learning about determinant, all right? So we have two different ways to do determinant. So determinant for 2 by 2 matrix, it's a different process, and 3 by 3, it's different. So basically it's a different process for each square matrix. So we're just going to go up to 3 by 3. That's all we're going to do. And one more thing, so determinant is possible only for square matrix. So if any matrix which is not square, you cannot find its determinant. So it has to be a square matrix in order to find determinant. So let's start off with 2 by 2. And another thing, so you should have those handouts, those notes. I already sent it to you guys last night. So please have it handy. That way you can actually follow along. It would be easier for you guys to look at those examples. So please have those notes handy. So let's start off with 2 by 2 matrix. If your matrix is 2 by 2, and in order to find determinant of that, let me just write that down. So let's say matrix A is, I'm just going to use variables first. So let's say I have A, B, C, and D. So in order to find determinant of this matrix, basically what you got to do is you just have to multiply the diagonals. So this diagonal means A times D minus C times B. So that's how we find determinant of this matrix. So A, D minus B times C. All right, that would be your answer there. Let me show you with numbers. So let's say matrix A is 4, 6, 3, 8. Pretty simple. Just multiply the diagonal, but don't forget, you got to go left to right first. So start from top right, go to bottom right, top left to bottom right. So I would do 4 times 8 minus 6 times 3. So if you multiply these, so it's 32 minus 18, which is 14. So that's how we deal with 2 by 2 matrices. Now let's move on to 3 by 3. So 3 by 3, it's slightly different. So again, please have those notes handy. If you look at first page of that, so first page, the bottom one, there are 3 different bullet points. If you actually could read those 3 steps for yourself, it would be easier for you to understand this process. So how do we do this? So how about if I just write numbers instead of variables? It would be easier. So let's say my matrix A is 6, 1, 1. It's 4, negative 2, 5, 2, 8, and 7. So first step, you need to pick a row. You can pick any row you want. Later on towards the end, I'll tell you a trick or a shortcut to figure out what row to pick. But right now, I'm just asking you to pick a row. So let's just say, let's pick the first one. So you can pick any row you want, but right now I just want you to stick with first row. So if I take this whole row, so what I need to do is, now I need to multiply every single number of this row by something. So basically you need to take one number at a time. So if I take 6, so you need to multiply this number by it's 2 by 2 determinant of its 2 by 2 matrix. So when I said determinant of 2 by 2 matrix, how do we get that 2 by 2 matrix? So basically, you just have to cover the row and the column this number belongs to. So this 6 belongs to first row and first column. If I cover those, there has to be something I can cover these. Let me see if I can. No, I can't use that either. No. Let's just use a highlighter and I'm just going to cover this. If I cover this row and this column here, I see this 2 by 2 left. So this 6 going to get multiplied by the determinant of this 2 by 2. I'm just going to write that 2 by 2 for you guys and we'll do determinant in the next step. Okay, this is what I have for the first one. Okay, now let's move on to the second number. So if I see, let me just erase this part first. Okay, now if I have, now I need to deal with the second number, which is 1. Okay, if I have 1 here, now 1's going to get multiplied by, it's 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so you need to cover the row and the column it's in. So let me use a highlighter. So if I cover the row and the column it's in, so I have 2 by 2 matrix of 4, 5, 2, and 7. Here you go. I'm halfway through. One more step. So now I need to deal with the last number, which is also 1. So I would take, let me undo this part first. Okay, so I have 1. Now again, I'm dealing with this one here. So I need to cover the row and the column it's in. So I would cover this whole row and this whole column. So I see 4, -2, 2, and 8 left in there. Okay, now I already have all of the matrices I needed to know. Now, one more thing, you need to follow a sign pattern. So when I say sign pattern, so it means all of these numbers should have a sign in front. So what is the sign pattern? So please pay attention to this. So the sign pattern is you start off with plus, so we start off with plus for the first number, minus with the second, and plus for the last. So this 6 would have plus, this would have minus, and this would have plus in there. Now almost there. Now rest is pretty much just finding determinant of each 2 by 2 and multiply by the number outside. So I already have 6. If I find the determinant of this, it would be -54. -1, so determinant of the next 2 by 2, it's 18. 1 times it by 36. If I simplify the whole thing, my answer would be -306. There you go. Let me show you with another row, just in case. Keep in mind, no matter what row you pick, your answer always going to be the same. So let me just undo this whole thing, or let me just erase this whole thing. And now I'm going to pick a different row for you guys just to show you if it's the same thing or not. So let's pick a different row. Okay. So let's say I pick third row. So I guess now, since you guys already know the process, it's going to be easier for you to pick that 2 by 2. So this 2 is going to get multiplied by, again, I'm going to skip those steps. So I have this whole part. So I have 1, 1, -2, and 5. If I look at 8, I would have, so cover the row and the column it's in. So my 2 by 2 would be 6, 1, 4, and 5. For 7, it would be 6, 1, 4, and -2. And now let's follow the sign pattern. So it's plus and it's minus and plus. If I simplify, this would be 2 times 7, 8 times 26, 7 times -16. If I simplify the whole thing, my answer would be 306. There you go. Same answer. Now, the only row I'm left with is the second one. So let's follow the same thing. Let me erase this whole part. So let's see. Let's pick second row. Okay. So if I pick second row, let me erase these things too. So, okay. If I take second row, I have 4 4s. Okay, covered the row and the column it belongs to. So I would have 1, 1, 8, and 7. So -2 would have 6, 1, 2, and 7. Then I have 5. This would have, wait a second, let me check if I did this part right. 2 and 7, yeah. So 5 would have 6, 1, 2, and 8. Okay, now we do the sign pattern, right? But this time it's slightly different. Okay, so normally we have plus, minus, and plus, but this one would be negative, plus, and minus. Now let's simplify. I'll talk about that sign pattern just in a minute. Let me finish this first. So I have negative 4 times it by negative 1, negative 2 times it by positive 40, 5 times it by 46, and if you simplify the whole thing, I have negative 306, which is the same answer. All right, now let's talk about the sign pattern. I don't know if you paid attention to this or not. Let me erase all these. Okay, so when I did first and third row, my sign pattern was plus, just a second. So it was plus, minus, and plus. Plus, minus, and plus. But when I did the middle row, I did negative, positive, and negative. Now, if you look at closely, if you look at carefully, so basically every other sign switches. So if you notice, I start off with positive, then I have negative, then I have positive, then negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. Here you go. Basically, so everything, like it's every other row would follow the same sign pattern. First and third would match up. Second and fourth would match up. So that's the way we do it. So basically you need to pick original numbers from the first row, and that original number is going to get multiplied by that 2 by 2 determinant. Okay. In the beginning, I was talking about a shortcut. So you can pick any row, right? So pretend if I have a matrix like this. Okay, now, since I can pick any row, so think about this. If I pick second row, isn't it 0? And this 0 is going to get multiplied by something. And eventually, those terms going to be 0 at the end. So only number you would have at the end, it would be just this. So it means you just have to do that 2 by 2 determinant just for this number, because other two terms eventually going to become 0. So basically, this is going to be the only number that's just going to determine your determinant. So this is going to be my first option. And how about if I look at the first row? Let's just say I have decided to pick first row. Then I have to do that 2 by 2 just for these two, because eventually this term, the last term, going to be 0 again. So that's going to be a little bit easier than the first option, but I would still go with my first choice, because then I see 2 zeros in there. I just have to do that 2 by 2 just once. So this last row would be my third choice, because there's no 0. I actually have to do 2 by 2 for all three numbers. Now here's the trick. So pick a row which has maximum number of zeros, because then you just have to do that 2 by 2 fewer time. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So again, pick a row. I don't care which one, but make sure you follow the sign pattern. If you pick first and third, your sign pattern would be plus, minus, plus. But if you pick the middle one, it would be negative, plus, and negative. The rest pretty much the same thing. So this is all for the day. And again, if you have any question, you can just comment on this video and I'll answer that. And please follow along your notes. It would help you a lot, because every single thing is already listed there. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching.